Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Slope Club. Time for another album discussion. As always, you know how it is. It's your boy, with me for this episode, Tron and
What
Josh. What's
Hey.
up,
What it do?
guys?
What it do?
Not much. Same old stuff. But for this album discussion, we're gonna venture into new territory because we're talking about a solo act. Our first solo act album discussion. And who better to be our first solo album discussion than Suzuki Airi, dude. Yes, we're going to talk about her debut album called Do Me a Favor. Do Me a Favor, the debut solo album by singer, actress, model, YouTuber, and former Hello Project idol Suzuki Airi. It's a bit of a long album.
Very long. They're like, it's a debut album, so let's pack it in.
We'll get through it. But 15 tracks on this album. She worked with a lot of different styles and artists. Got a few featured tracks, but kind of mostly pop, rock, R&B styled stuff. Have you heard of her before?
I've heard of her by name. I've never actually gone to actually take a listen to her music or even see how she looks, but I have heard her name whispered around.
Do you know what group she was previously in before?
Was it cute?
Oh, he's
Yes.
right.
Oh,
You're
okay.
right.
Ding,
There
ding,
you
ding.
go. Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
So Tron and I, we were Hello Project fans. So I think when I was still following Hello Project closely, she made her debut as a little kid.
Part of Hello Kids, right?
Yeah, she was in the kids thing. They kind of, brought her up, and then in 2002, I think.
Wow.
Was when she joined.
Oh, so this is why you guys call her a little kid.
She was literally a child.
Uh-huh.
She was literally a child. Yeah, like I was still in high school during that time.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
2002, and then 2005. That's when they made "Cute" with a bunch of other Hello Project kids. She kind of became one of the main vocals. And then 2007, she made that subunit Buono, which was really popular.
Oh, so good. So good.
They had a kind of a more rock style. They're pretty popular, but I didn't closely follow Cute or Irie because like by the time Cute kind of took off, I started like my Hello Project fandom started kind of waning. But I always thought Irie was like one of the best idols, just from like a performance standpoint, like her singing and dancing ability is just like so high up there for me.
Very top notch. Yeah, she was definitely one of the more talented Hello Project members across all Morning Musume, Berries, even other solo artists in Hello Project. She was definitely one of the cream of the crop, you could say.
I'm glad that she's still doing music. I think she considered, like after Cute disbanded in 2017, she considered doing something else, not like music related or something like that. But I'm glad she's doing solo stuff.
Nice.
Let's talk about the songs and stuff, guys. 15 tracks. It's pretty long.
As we get into it, it's gonna be interesting because I think there's some repetition for some of the songs. I'm not sure how you guys feel, but long song, lot of songs in here. So where you guys want to start off at?
Right, there's a couple like pop rock stuff, but then there's a lot of like R&B kind of crossover styled songs like on like Moment or like Tabun Ne, right? Which I think for the R&B styled stuff, those work pretty well for me. Moment, kind of pop R&B reminds me of Nishino Kana, if you know who she is.
I put down Crystal K.
Oh yeah. it's pop R&B, kind of in the mainstream J-pop style. You got the snaps and the acoustic guitar and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would put this under like a mid tempo pop ballad, like R&B kind of like subgenre. Like this is actually my favorite song on the album. So it's funny when you said that, and then you're like, let's talk about favorite singles, and then you went straight to Moment. I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, this actually is my favorite song on the album because, like I said, it has that kind of Crystal K Boa vibes, which I just love me some of that. I really love that kind of stuff, that genre. So this is actually Suzuki Airi did an amazing job with this song and just the instrumentals and the snaps like Boy mentioned. So good. I mean, I'm really a big fan of this song.
I think for this one, the vocal melody really makes the song. Like I'm okay with the instrumentals, but the melody itself of the vocals is just really good. A nice chill song. Really like started making me groove a little bit. So I enjoyed that one.
What'd you think about Tabune? That's also pop R&B style, but I felt that it had a little bit more groove to it, kind of dancey.
Was it just me? But during the chorus, did you get Kygo vibes? Because I feel like I got some tropical beats in the chorus, like in terms of the instrumentals. Did you? Maybe it was just me, but I felt that there were just some tropical vibes and like when I think of Kygo, like it's a good song too, like good energy. Not as good as Moment. Between those two songs, I 100% think like Moment's the better song out of the two, but
You hear a little bit of that. It kind of like reaches out and does kind of more interesting sounds, like in the bridge areas maybe. I like Tabunes. It has a little bit of like catchy vocal lines in there.
that's true.
So this one with the flow of the album, it moves a little bit more electronic. And I kind of wish that in the album it kind of flowed a little bit better into this. I kind of felt like it was a little bit abrupt since before this there was like faster songs and slower songs. And I feel like it was doing a lot of switches before this. So I kind of wish like it flowed a little bit
That's a good
smoother
point.
into this. Because like we heard before, there was like faster songs, like a lot of rock songs, and then sometimes there's some slower songs that are a little bit mid-tempo. And then move into this song again. So I was like, okay, time to get back into the energy. So for that, that threw me off a little bit. But I do think the song really does flow. Sometimes you can like kind of lose yourself a little bit, but I feel like overall it's a nice song.
Speaking of kind of reaching out to a little more interesting sounds, like in Be Your Love, there's that bridge part that reminded me a lot of it was like Porter Robinson esque, like Madeon, right?
Yeah, I put that down as Medion. Yeah, I put Medion down here. Future. That song was interesting. So I got the same thing vibe. It was just not as memorable. I think it was too slow paced for me. I mean, it's hard. Like I feel like this is not gonna be not gonna be the last time I mention this, but 16 songs and like there's a couple of repetitive like genres and themes that you hear, and like I said, I only listened to this album like 3 times, so I may not be giving some love where it's needed for some of these songs, but that's one of the songs where I think it was a little bit too slow paced for me. It was good, had the future bass sound, but like I'm not sure.
It was interesting, right? It was a little bit different from. I mean, it still had kind of like the same themes or whatever, but overall it had a little bit more of like a more retro kind of vibe, especially in the verse parts of that track.
I can see that.
Also, not my favorite either, though.
Just to like highlight on your comment, like Suzuki Airi, we talked about how talented she is, like amazing singer across this whole album, and I think it's just interesting how she can like do mid tempo pop ballads with rock R&B. Like it's just like her whole vocal range and just how she can just express herself, just lends herself how talented she is in singing to be able to cross those genres, because like, she's a solo artist. She can't like just rely on other people to like kind of pick up the pace or bring their own flavor in. It's really great. And some of the songs that are not on this album, but are like I think her next album or like later on singles, you kind of see that as well.
So this one, I was kind of vibing to it, but again, this, as I mentioned before in other videos, this isn't my favorite type of pop sound. I do like pop, but it's just this kind. I don't know. Maybe it's the mixing with the drums and everything where it makes it sound like a little bit too bassy and makes it sound a little bit like complicated. But for me, I feel like there's moments where like if there wasn't as much drums, like there were moments in the song where there wasn't, and I feel like I really enjoyed those moments. where I could actually like hear the song a little bit and not just be hit with drums and then bass at the same time with similar tones to it.
It's like going back to the R&B style stuff. That Sound Perfect Timing wasn't into that as much as the other two R&B style ones.
It sounded you ever heard of Ariana Grande's Side to Side? It kind of had that vibe to it.
Is that her like more recent stuff?
Ariana Grande, it's like one of her more like last couple years. I definitely got like the Trump sounds and the trumpet sounds, like more
Yeah.
heavy on that.
It felt some 2000 style like R&B, you know. Got the hi-hats going off, right? Like it's all rattling. Yeah, so I wasn't crazy about this track. I also like those like pianos, right? That kind of just like dun, dun.
Yeah, not too instrumentals weren't too inspiring. Like I said, it's very simple, nothing too crazy. That's why I like song reminded me of Ariana Grande's Side to Side because again, another song is super popular and catchy, mainstream sounding, but like nothing really inspiring when it comes to like just the arrangement and like the instrumentals.
I did enjoy that it actually stayed like a similar tempo and a similar tune to it. So like without getting too hyped in the chorus, I kind of like the mellowness of it, and I thought it was very different from the usual song.
But yeah, you know, we got a couple R&B stuff. We got the majority is more like rock kind of style, though, right?
We talk about the collab with Scandal.
Yeah, especially that one.
That's a great one, dude.
Yeah, she did a song that Scandal wrote. It's a featuring Scandal. It wasn't like they produced the song for it. It's a feature, and there's a few in this album. The song is called Story, and it's basically a Scandal song.
Yeah, I remember like Scandal featuring Airi? Question mark.
But Airi singing over it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's bad or good for you, but I like Scandal, so I'm just like I'm chill, dude.
I'm down with that. You know, I think that's a great great way of putting it. Yeah, it sounds like a Scandal song with Airi laying over the vocals on it. That's great.
Yeah, so to me this is pretty cool because it's two artists collaborating, and two artists that I've kind of watched and kind of followed from their beginnings, and to see them like mature musically as an artist is pretty cool, and collabing together. But this is basically just a Scandal song that Airi is singing over.
It's an interesting collab. Like, do they know? I wonder if they know each other. Or they're not the same on their record label, right? Because I would never think of like Scandal and Airi just like.
That's what surprised me about this album when it was first announced and they released the track list and everything. I'm like, oh, look at all these people that she's working with. That's pretty cool, you know. She was a Hello Project artist, and you know, I always thought that they would just stay within like the upfront like agency or whatever and work with in-house producers that way for a solo album. So I was surprised that she's working with these different artists.
Because she's still under like the umbrella of Upfront, right? And then as an agency, I believe, right? So like, yeah, I 100% agree with Boy, because I don't think I've ever seen these sort of collaborations with any other groups that you would have under the Upfront umbrella.
Yeah, I just think it's a solid, like it is Scandal style, so like you can't deny that. So I just think it's a solid song. I mean, there's nothing that like shocked me and want to tell the world about this, but at the same time, I'm not saying it's like bad. I'm saying it's like solid. It's like good. Like I'd listen to it again.
It's like mediocre.
No, I'm saying it's solid. I'm not saying it's mediocre. I'm not saying it's like a throwaway song. Like, okay, I listened to it. It's all right. I'm saying it's solid.
Okay, I hear you.
The song has a lot more like rock style stuff than R&B style stuff, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, I got Story with Scandal, and then Candy Box, which kind of a throwback to Bono, I thought. It's a cute, like, power pop style song. Like,
that's a good point. I never thought about that until you brought that up. That's a good point.
You know, it's like cute and stuff, and it reminded me of Bono.
So this is one of those songs that I had towards the end of the album, right? This is like track 13 or 14, whatever. I put down like, this is a song that I feel like is another like a song that's kind of repetitive in a sense because like it is kind of pop sounding and fun, but I think like the the stamina to get to track 14 maybe because not everyone listens to albums differently. Like we're reviewing albums, so I'm going from like one, two, three, four. Maybe some people like listen, then they stop, and then when let me go back into my album. Let me continue again. Like for me, I was marathoning it, and by the time I got there, I feel like I feel like I've heard this song before, somewhere around track 5 or 6. Like it's just again another case of our 16 songs probably wasn't really needed. We could add this in as like a type B or something, or like a coupling out, something like that. Like it's a good song though, but like
But for
the
me,
pacing was just
it was the opposite. For
really.
me, I
It
felt
was
like
the pick me up, right?
yeah, it was a pick me. It was uplifting.
Yeah, that's
And it was
me
like the
too.
vibe with this rock sound, that tambourine in there. That's
Yeah, because by this point, if you're like starting to get fatigued from all the tracks being so long and stuff, and like kind of more mid tempo, slower type songs, you get to this track and it's like super energetic and stuff. And you're like, oh, all right, cool, let's go, get me through to the end.
Maybe maybe I was out of shape or something. I don't know. Maybe I didn't get the same vibe and energy that I should have gotten like you guys did.
well, you guys have listened to like this style before with her previous group. Meanwhile, I haven't at all. So maybe for me, it was like a little bit more fresh.
That's a good point.
I want to bring up like my favorite track.
Yeah. Want to hear what's your favorite track?
It's the one of the other features. It's the one with Akai Ko-en, who is another girl band like Scandal. But they kind of did it a little different. To me, this doesn't sound like an Akai Ko-en song that
Which song is it again?
Airi singing over. It's called Hikari no Hoe.
Right. Oh, this is a good song.
Yeah,
I like the song.
I enjoy Akai Ko-en. I don't know what it is about them. It's just the way their like main songwriter writes the songs that I really like. I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of just like pop rock alternative or whatever, but like it to me they don't fit into like this kind of like mainstream genre that like people are used to, I guess.
Yeah, but I wrote something similar to you where I put it had more surprise in it and it sounds less like a traditional like Japanese rock song.
Right, and then the kind of like muted choppy guitar riffs, right? Kind of got like these ding dong bell type things in the chorus, right? And so, but like I think when this album came out, Akai Ko-en's vocalist left the band,
Oh,
Oh.
and they're like, oh, we're gonna get a new vocalist, and I was like, please make Airi your vocalist, because I thought like this song was just like a perfect example of what could have been, I guess. I mean, they eventually got another idol to be their vocalist, but yeah, I really like this song. It worked out. Like her vocals fit well with like the instrumentation and stuff like that. So
I put down sounds like the beginning of a ending anime song. Like you finish an anime episode and then this song will come up in the beginning. At least like the first like 30 seconds. It sounds
because
like
it starts with the drums, right? That's
Yeah.
drum fill. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I love like the switch up at the before the chorus where it's like pauses and it switches up a little bit in terms of like the tempo. I was like, ooh, I dig that. At first I was like, ooh, but then like I listened to it again. I'm like, oh, okay, actually no, I like that. I just wasn't expecting it the first time, so that's why I was put off a little bit. But then after listening to the album again, I enjoyed that twist. Yeah, this is actually top 3 for me.
yeah, that's my favorite track off the album.
yeah, that one's up there for me too.
But also the one before that, I also enjoy very much. It's a different style of it's like a different genre, right? Good Night.
Funky bass vibes is what I put down.
The intro is nice too. Get to show off a little bit of her vocals, right? It's really nice. I really like this song too, actually.
Will this count as like somewhat Radio Disney vibes? Because I kind of got a little bit of that in some parts. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know you and
I
RJ
feel
have
like
like
it's
a
an older
specific like.
no?
If RJ was here, he would say this is his favorite track, probably.
Oh, really? Wow. Leave the comments below, RJ, to see if this boy is right.
I don't know. I think this just has a lot of attitude, but it's like really cute at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a diva, right, or whatever. But it still has like that youthful like kind of feel that I guess I get from her.
That's a good point.
Also, like she worked with like a Korean producer, Double Sidekick or whatever. I don't.
For how many of these songs? Because it's funny that you mentioned that because there's a
Just
couple
this one.
songs
Just
on.
this one.
Oh, just this one. Okay. Because there's a couple of songs here that I feel like they're like there's some songs like DMAF. I don't know if I copied
Oh,
the
it's
right
Do
one.
Me
It's
a
like,
Favor, right?
Do Me a Favor. Okay. That song's like more of like a slower paced ballad, and like the ballad that it sounds like something I would hear from like a K-pop group or like something from the K-pop genre. Just how the ballad is kind of like arranged. I like slower paced ballads. It's like one of my favorite genres. It's just like ballads. I don't know, something about it, maybe because I watched Korean dramas a lot when I was a kid. But I really like ballads. And coupling that with like Airi's amazing voice, it was really good. And yeah, there's a couple parts where I'm like, this sounds like a Korean song.
Do Me a Favor is the third feature. Spicy Chocolate is the name of the artist, I guess. I don't think it's a Korean artist though.
Okay, probably not, but it just had like Korean vibes in terms of the arrangement and like listening to the ballad itself. It sounded like a Korean ballad.
This is one of the few songs that she actually wrote, like the lyrics
Oh,
for, and it's, I guess, the personal thing, so it comes off more genuine that way. Yeah. Hashtag the track is hashtag DMAF, but it's Do Me a Favor. It's the title track.
Yeah, I definitely think this one deserves more listens. I feel like I'll enjoy it more.
Yeah, because I think where it is in the album, it feels like passable, like skippable, right? Because it's a ballad, so it's like you don't give it too much attention, right?
You listen to all these songs, it gets to this.
Yeah, but like standalone, I think it deserves a little bit more attention.
feel you.
Josh, which one did you like?
But my favorite is the last song, Just Start Again. I got like a floaty vibe to this, and the wispy feeling, great singing, the chorus, so good. To me, this kind of reminds me of Nami Amuro with Fight Together.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
So this one was like right up my alley because I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I like this too. I like where it is. I like that it's the end. Because it's kind of like opening up and kind of like looking towards the future feeling kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, this is like the end of the first album, but look out for more kind of thing, right? Like what could come in the future kind of thing.
Yeah, because a lot of the albums that we've discussed have been like really slowed down when it comes to like the final song. Because a lot of times it's like, all right, let's like relax and like calm down after all those songs. But then this one's kind of like, all right, we look forward to the next one.
Yeah, it leaves it open, right? And it's like, oh, looking forward to more stuff, dude.
Yeah, this one's like a total vibe. Like, just the vibe that you get from it is so good.
I really like the open breeziness of it.
I need to give this song more of a chance because it goes back to like the pacing, and I think by the last song I'm just like I'm over it. So I'm just like, okay, song, but not too memorable again.
He's petered out at the end.
I'll chalk it up to just saying that I probably should have listened to this album in like shuffle or random or something like that versus going from like beginning to end.
Or
So
maybe
I feel
take
like
breaks.
I
Maybe
didn't
take some
give
breaks.
like, take some breaks. Yeah, I mean, because like, I mean, I did a little bit. Like I listened to this album like 2 or 3 times, like 3 times actually, and like I just went bam, 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 wrote down my notes. And again, going back to like the last 3 or 4 songs, I feel like I'm not giving them their due.
You don't really need to listen to this album in order of their track list. Like it's not arranged in any way of like a flow, right? Because some like you'd be like, oh, this is a cool rock song, and then like, oh,
Okay, let's listen to this now. Oh, back to rock.
No.
Okay.
Right. So like, I feel like it doesn't matter the order you listen to the tracks. It's not a concept album or anything like that. It's supposed to like flow from one to the next.
That's how we listen to all the albums.
But I mean, go at it as you please, I guess.
I said like the last word, but actually, Watashi no Soba was actually my top 3 for me. It was another song that kind of had Crystal K and Boa vibes to me. Another like R&B kind of sounding. I really dig that song a
Interesting.
lot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you guys thought, but it was a bright spot towards the back half of the album for me. It like
I like
lightened
the
my mood.
chorus melody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kind
of
of
course,
like
it's really
slides
catchy.
into.
Mhm.
As a very nice touch. But to me, this song screamed like, this is a J-pop song right
Yes.
here.
That's a J-pop
You know.
song.
For me, I like how the instruments kind of like they're a little bit kind of like doing their own thing, and then she's kind of like singing, doing her own thing, but they're staying together. But then there's moments when like if they cross, and then like you're able to like hear them accompany each other, and then they split off again. That's something that I really enjoy about the song.
Yeah, this is a song. I put down notes like this is a song that you know that Airi is a J-pop artist now and no longer an idol because just like the song and the vibe and the maturity in it just feels like she is a J-pop artist. She's no longer Airi from Cute singing about whatever.
That's what they wanted to say with this release. That it's not like this idol that's singing a bunch of different songs anymore, right? It's like this is an artist now.
And I understand why they packed in all these songs for today. They wanted to break that mold from her. So I understand why there's so many tracks and all these different like genres that like she can do, and she's able to handle them very, very great. You know.
Well, we talked about the last track, "Start Again," but the opening track is actually pretty effective. Distance is the lead track for the album. It's kind of cool, like crossover, kind of like fusion style. There's like rock guitars and like some EDM style beats, right? It's kind of like this driving sound. It's kind of cool. I didn't really pay attention to it when they released like the music video before the album came out. But this is like, this is Suzuki Airi debut album. This is the lead track. I'm like, that's cool.
The song itself didn't really do it for me too much, but it kind of goes back to the theme that we just talked about. It was like, this is Suzuki Airi, the J-pop artist. This is starting off track number 1. You definitely can tell a departure from her Cute days and Bono days for this song, starting it off with Distance. Song itself though was okay. I don't know, I think
it serves its purpose as
exactly. That's a great way of putting it. It serves its purpose
as an opener, as a lead track, gets you interested. It's like, ooh, this sounds cool. And
Now for me, this is like top 3, I think, for me.
Oh, okay.
I like the chorus, huh?
Yeah. The chorus is really nice. I like how like it's like hills and valleys in terms of like the tunes it goes. Like it drops down in the instruments sometimes, or sometimes it's like all instruments, and then like I don't know. I just think I like the mix and then the experimental kind of like just going at it full throttle with like different effects and everything. I think there's really interesting tones in it. And I think to start off, it was like a really great start off for me, just getting into this album.
Mikanse Girl.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's pretty straightforward, like
Yeah.
J-rock.
Straightforward is exactly what I put down.
It's like, this is a ending of an anime kind
Guitar
of thing, right?
solo is cool at the end.
Oh yeah, the classic rock guitar solo. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. As straightforward as you can get. It's a good song.
No,
Yeah,
I did enjoy those like jazzy chords, right, in the guitar, in the chorus. I did enjoy that.
See, that's how you know it's like a Japanese
Yeah.
song. Like throwing them jazz chords in there, So yeah, it's pretty nice. What's that? The In Janai, I thought was kind of interesting. It sounded a little bit more like Showa era.
Oh really?
Retro sound. Yeah.
I got more of
the same
a like
vibe, too.
Mexican rock kind of vibe.
Really?
Oh,
I put down.
Yeah.
This is really funny. Okay, so I put down 70s French vibes, like those old like
We all got
70s
different
like
things. Okay.
Damn,
pop
different
French.
yeah.
Like I don't
But
know if you
they
guys
all-
ever heard. I also put that. It kind of sounds like AKB's like skirt, Kelly, a little bit at the chorus.
Really
Let's see that a little.
early AKB style stuff where it's kind of
Yeah.
more like melancholic sounding.
Mhm.
And not super like chirpy. Oh yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they threw in kind of an older, to me at least, sounding arrangement.
It was an interesting one. It's funny how we all interpreted the song a little bit differently in terms of like the vibe it came.
To me, I just saw it as like a 80s 90s TV show, and it's like the ending to it. It's like strong female hero kind of TV show. or something like that.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
For me, it's like the guitar and like with the singing and even the drums. Like that's the vibe I got. Because there's a lot of like Mexican rock bands that do like that type of like rhythm and everything.
Yeah, I think we got through all the tracks.
I think that's everything. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, do me a favor. I'll give it a 7. It's got a good variety of styles. Definitely shows off her singing abilities. Right, production and her performance especially is very good. Like crispy, man. There's some like notes that she hits. I'm like, yeah, you know. So the featured tracks to me stand out, like the ones with Scandal and Akai Ko-en especially. But in the end, I think it's just a pretty, like, the whole album has a pretty mainstream J-pop sound. It has hints of like being a little bit more adventurous, and like in the bridge sections of like tracks like Distance and Be Your Love. Something that she might explore in the future. It is long, and so you could cut some of the fluff out. And Tron mentioned it earlier. A little bit more repetitive in some of the motifs and stuff. So I think it'd be better if it was a little bit more concise. It's cool though, but yeah, it's kind of safe, more familiar sound. It doesn't really like establish like a style or a sound for her, but at the same time, I kind of see why. Like it's her debut album, and she was an idol, and so they're kind of like trying to break the mold, right? It's like look at this girl, she can do all these things. Isn't that cool? It's cool, right? Right? Like she look at all these different styles. I'm like, cool, yeah, it is. So like they try to do all these different things just to show that she has the chops. She can do all these things. But in the end, it just made it a little too long and a little too safe for me. So a 7 out of 10.
Okay, so for me, now, brothers of mine, I have no familiarity with like Suzuki Airi or C-ute or even Hello Project really. So for me, this was something really fresh, and I didn't even know what to expect when I went into this. But I think I was pleasantly surprised with this. For me, I would give this an 8 out of 10.
Ooh.
So I did enjoy this, as you can see with the score, and I thought for me it had a great variety in it. Like even though a lot of the songs are kind of, you can compare them, like some of the rock songs, some might sound like this one, and one might be better than another. But I think the vocals is what really took it over the top for me. Just the great vocals and added a little bit different tones to even like some of the songs that sound familiar was really what was the landing point for me. And I think overall there's no like weak songs. Like I can't point out a song and be like, oh, that song is bad. Like everything here is a solid song. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and I can't wait to listen to more and check out the music videos. So yes, 8 out of 10.
For me, it was a little bit of I had a little bit of a conflict between going between two different scores. I eventually landed on 7 out of 10. I think kind of the same points that Boy mentioned on his review. I kind of feel the same way. I think the biggest thing what they were trying to do with this debut album was kind of break her out of that idol sort of persona that she was doing for the last 8 years or so during her cute and Bono days, and wanted to really establish her as a J-pop artist. And that's kind of why you saw all these different genres and 16 songs and showcasing what she could do. For me though, I think you could do, like I talked about already before, you could done that but with 4 less songs and kept it at 12 and not feel as cumbersome. But some of the songs that she did that really set her apart and really established her as a J-pop artist, like Moment and Watashi no Soba, like those are songs that I really enjoy, and I was pleasantly surprised to listen to, because this is my first time listening to the album. And before this, I didn't listen to her debut album. So really happy with the album overall. The reason why I didn't give it like an 8 was because just again too much for me. It felt repetitive at times, but again, to Josh's point, the vocals really carried most of the songs this whole album overall. So loved it a lot. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Lock it in.
That's the biggest takeaway. Like, She can sing.
We know you're the shit, Airi. You don't need to prove it. We know you the shit. You can do it.
All right, and with all of our scores added together, the total score for the album is a 7 out of 10. So again, to repeat our scoring system, 10 is like, we're going to go tell our friends and our moms and everything. 1 is like, no, just throw it away. 5 is like middle of the road, like anyone can release a song kind of. So 7 is a pretty good score, especially for like a first debut.
All right.
So that does it all for this album discussion. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and leave a like down below and leave your comments about your thoughts on this album. Let us know whether you enjoyed it, whether you didn't enjoy it, and your personal scores down below. So that's all for this time. Catch us on the next album discussion.
Bye.